Venice. Afloat on the placid sea a league away lay the great city, with its towers and domes and steeples drowsing in a golden mist of sunset. This Venice, which was a haughty, invincible, magnificent republic for nearly 1,400 years, is fallen prey to melancholy decay. She, that in her palmy days commanded the commerce of a hemisphere, and made the weal or woe of nations with the beck of her finger, is become a peddler of glass beads for women, and trifling toys and trinkets for schoolgirls and children.
Venice.
Arriving in Venice by train brought me face to face with the famous Grand Canal, and in short order I found myself on a vaporetto crowded with locals and tourists alike, chugging towards the Rialto Pier. My B&B was not far from this famous landmark, down a series of narrow alleys and under an ancient lintel where I found the Corte Morosino. This is the courtyard to the 16th century palazzo where my apartment was located, and in the center of the courtyard I could see the well that serviced these buildings, still featuring the original family's coat of arms. All right, it's time for the tour here in Camorosino. It's very vintage Venice looking, at least as far as I can tell. Love the green ceiling, not sure about that. That's okay, because when you go in here, you come into the yellow bedroom area. So, look at that. What is this sculpture in the corner? Place has a funky little bathroom. But I tell you one thing, I'm really going to be happy to have that bath. But what I love best about this apartment, check out my view. Well, it would appear that this canal right by my apartment is a highway for gondolas, because so far every time I've looked out there's been a gondola passing and I've been waving at people, kind of wondering if they think I'm a native. You know, someone just said ciao to me and I think she was a tourist. Well, I'm sure she wasn't a tourist because I don't think native Venetians take the gondolas anywhere. My next stop was the Palazzo Continari del Bovolo. Built between the 14th and 15th centuries for the Continari family, it gained the Bovolo suffix due to the famous spiral staircase on the outside. And another set of spiral staircases. Yet another one. There is a nondescript museum inside and some rooms decorated in period furnishings, but the real reason for visiting the tower is because it's a great place to watch the sun coming down on Venice. The Vaporetto, like the one that I took from the train station, are the public transit of Venice. These work-a-day craft chug their way from stop to stop on the Grand Canal and are a great way to see the facades of the buildings as you rumble past boats and gondolas and under bridges. I bought a pass when I arrived in Venice, and all I had to do was tap in when I got on the boat, just like a bus. Boy, they aren't kidding when they say you can really get turned around here, because Google Maps is not too accurate. Or at least if it is, it's hard to interpret sometimes. So I think I'm back on the right track finally. Despar Teatro Italia is a unique supermarket in Venice. Walking through the doors into the lobby, one gets a sense that this is not your usual grocery store. Packaged food and household goods sit on shelves and in coolers under a high frescoed ceiling. Teatro Italia was built in 1916 in the neo-Gothic style as one of the first movie theaters in Venice. 100 years later, the building was purchased and renovated by the Despar grocery chain. And today, instead of moviegoers, its aisles hold bottles of soda and wine, packages of meat and cheese, toilet papers and deodorant. I've never seen such common goods displayed in such an elegant setting. Canals are the arteries that keep Venice moving, and if you have canals, you have to have bridges. The Grand Canal that snakes through the heart of Venice pumps and churns with the traffic of tourism and commerce. But balancing the chaos is the calm serenity of the smaller side canals, with water gently lapping against the ancient buildings and gondolas gliding quietly by. Venice consists of 118 small islands surrounded by 150 canals, and everything is sewn together by 400 quaint bridges. And if they are quaint by day, the bridges and canals become positively magical by nightfall. When the crowds of anxious tourists have departed, Venice takes a deep breath and settles into a domestic routine. This is my favorite side of Venice. Getting an early start this morning. I'm going to head down to the Piazza San Marco. Found some coffee. The Bar de Gale. When you're navigating, sometimes rather than using the street signs, it's just easier to follow the little signs that say to San Marco and such. All right, and here we come up to the famous Piazza San Marco. The Piazza San Marco, usually packed with hordes of tourists, is serene in the early morning. A gull wheels quietly above the bay, and gondolas bob patiently at their moorings, waiting for the day to begin. The plaza contains the Campanile, St. Mark's Basilica, and the Palace of the Doge. Entering the Doge's palace, you are faced with a ceremonial staircase topped by massive statues of Neptune and Mars, signifying the Venetians' mastery of the seas and of war. This ostentatious display of wealth continues inside as you ascend the golden stairway. These Doge certainly knew how to live, didn't they? Stepping into the rooms on the second floor is like stepping into a jewelry box. These are the administrative offices from which the laws of the land were handed down, disputes mediated, and punishments meted out, each room more ornate than the next, culminating in the chamber of the Grand Council. The gilded walls and ceilings of this massive room contain paintings by masters such as Titian and Tintoretto, depicting the battles and the conquests of the Venetian state. This room was designed to awe visitors with the Doge's wealth and power. One of the biggest rooms in Europe in the Doge's palace, also one of the biggest paintings in the world. But when you were deemed guilty in front of the council, you were taken in shackles across the bridge to the prison next door to an almost certain death. And now, the Bridge of Sighs. A warren of stone corridors lined with small cells with low doors. This was the last place that many convicts saw. All the bars around here, you sure we're not getting out anytime soon? Not a place of rehab, but a place where you were locked away, tortured, and forgotten about.
Frankly, I can't imagine visiting Venice or any other part of Italy during tourist season.
The traghetto was my favorite way to cross the Grand Canal. For €2, you get to board a raggedy gondola and sit back as two gondoliers row you quickly across the water to the other side. The ride takes about a minute, but is a fun way to see the sights.
This is my budget gondola ride.
I took the traghetto more than I used the vaporettos.
Having my lunch in the piazza. I'm gonna make sure birds don't take my food, because I saw that happen today. Sometimes you just need a break from the insanity. Just fine, bitch, with the main on the blues. On my way to check out the Peggy Guggenheim collection of modern art. You're checking out the Peggy Guggenheim collection, which is such a relief to see this modern art after so many days of Renaissance art and Jesuses and Madonnas and all that kind of stuff. And then later today, I get to go to the Palazzo and check out some opera right across the way. Oysters! Really been wanting some. There we go. After the oysters, I decided to have the gamberi griglia. It's a gigantic grilled shrimp right out of the bay. Nothing, just grilled, little herb, lemon. It's awesome. And to top off the evening, I got tickets to see La Traviata performed by Musica a Palazzo. I joined a small group of about 20 people to see the performance by candlelight in a 16th century palace, moving from room to room with each act. It was a truly magical way to end my vacation to Italy.